Hello and welcome to Clarinet Ninja. Today we're doing a video, conservatively 10 years too late. But I didn't have a YouTube channel 10 years ago, and I didn't have a ReedGeek 10 years ago. I think that there's been developments in the ReedGeek technology since then, so maybe it's good that we've waited, or that we're doing it now. In any case, I haven't had a ReedGeek. You want to know why? Because I had a very cynical response to the ReedGeek when it first came out. And that response was, what do I need that for? I've got reed knives, I've got sandpaper, I've got my ATG, I've got my Reed Wizard. I don't need that. But you know what? It's pretty darn cool. Like, it's pretty good. So I want to show everybody what it is. I've done lots of video watching on this. For as much as I had a negative response to this tool when it first came out, I realized I was the tool, and I should have just bought this because it's actually, I haven't taken it out of my house yet, but I'm going to, and I know exactly why I am, and I know it's going to work for me. I'm going to find a reed that I haven't played in years. Maybe I never played it. I put them in this box, my cigar box of bad reeds. And I'm going to take a V12 and put it in the water. It's going to soak while we talk for a second. And now, in case you haven't seen it, let's take a look at the ReedGeek. The ReedGeek is a pretty simple tool. It's got, it's just this rectangle device. All the edges are pretty sharp. It's got this little gouged out area and then a matching gouged out area on the other side. And then it has what is called a proprietary pencil eraser bevel here. And so there's different shapes on the end of this bad boy. And that's all pretty good, right? It gives us lots of different, shapes and angles and things to adjust our reeds. Is this better than a reed knife? Maybe. If you've watched my videos before, particularly my video on reeds, which one? The one where I show my whole thing, my whole process on 6 different reeds. I've never used this before, so it was not in that video. Where this can be a real benefit, and this is what everybody that tests this product out says, is that you can take a reed that doesn't seal on your mouthpiece, and we talk about not sealing on the mouthpiece. Let me take my mouthpiece off so you can see what I'm talking about. You got the flat part of the mouthpiece. Let's pick this reed up. The flat part of the reed, if it is not sealing flat here, we don't get really consistent vibrations. That's an important starting place, and I'm going to show you how to check that. I've shown you in other videos, but maybe you haven't seen all my videos. If not, I would suggest you fix that. Watch them. But we're going to take this reed here that I haven't played in potentially 10 years. Maybe longer. I'm going to put it on. We're going to see if I get what we would call suction. I'm going to put it on my mouthpiece. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if it... I'm going to close up the end of the mouthpiece. It's getting pretty good suction. Okay, but here's the thing that everybody does with the ReedGeek, and I believe it's a good idea. You take the ReedGeek, well, you put it in your hand, right? I think you can use any side of this, and you just put it here in your hand. Here's the part of the mouth, here's the part of the reed that goes against the mouthpiece. And you just take this, and you very lightly just do this. And what that is going to do is it's going to flatten out your reed. It's going to take a little bit off, but not very much. What happens with reeds is they get wet, obviously, and then they, let me turn it around and we go the other way. The person that invented this, his name is Mauro de Joia. He has it like this, and he just does a little bit of this. And then that flattens out any spots that might be sticking up just a little bit. And let's put that back on the mouthpiece and see what happens. Okay, so already, did you hear how much longer that stayed on the mouthpiece than before? I should have timed it. It was okay. It had what I would call suction before, enough that I would have played it, but it's so much longer now. It's just staying right up on that mouthpiece. Yep. All right, so this is going to give us better results immediately from playing. I realized I made a mistake. I didn't play this reed before I did that, but the reed still sucks, so we still have a lot to do. Super stuffy. Let's do our side-to-side test just to see where we are here. It's way thicker on, what is that? The left side. All right, so that's our starting place. But we know our reed is nice and flat now. And I've got to say, what everybody says in the videos, and I think it's true. They are correct when they say it. Having this little thing to be able to flatten out a reed, to make it a little bit better. It's not taking very much off. I heard a guy, a saxophone player, say he just does that every time before he plays the saxophone. Seems like he wouldn't have a lot of reed left, but it's also not taking very much off. It's pretty interesting. I'm going to start messing with that. I haven't had this long enough to really give a lot of feedback on that, but it seems like a good idea. All right, so the back of the reed is nice and flat now, but this side is more resistant than this side. Now, you know, if I had my ATG, or if I had my Reed Wizard, my home system, and that's the flaw in my system, is that it works at home, because I don't take any of that reed stuff with me. I get all my reeds straightened out at home, and then one of them will usually work, but I'm also carrying around like 20 reeds all the time. This is obviously very easy to carry with me. There's no sandpaper, there's no flat surface, there's no nothing I gotta carry with me, which is nice. Because to fix a warped reed, to fix the back of a warped reed, you need sandpaper, you need a flat surface, you need a bunch of stuff. Sometimes you're sitting in your seat in the orchestra and you don't have any of that stuff. And if you have it, you had to carry it with you, instead of just this. I will say, it does come with this carrying device, this pouch. Use it, because this bad boy is sharp on all edges. And it could hurt you, it could hurt your child. It could hurt a lot of things. So I would say, always know where it is in your home, particularly if you've got a child. And also have it in this, because this is going to be good. All right. I also have seen people, I watched a video of like, can you buy something like this for $3 on the internet? And you can buy something quite similar to that for $3 on the internet. It's not quite as good. And let's just say this guy, Mauro De Gioia, thank you for making this thing. Thank you for inventing this thing. It's $90. It's kind of a lot of money. Hey, but if you buy it from the link down in my description. That's an affiliate link. I'll make a couple dollars, maybe not even $1, a cent, a 2, 3, 50 cents. Buy them down there, and on your way down to find it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Do that, would you? Okay, cool. So now here's what we're going to do. We got to find the place that is too resistant. Now, I have left here on my computer screen a still from the video that the inventor of this made. And I've drawn a crude picture of this on a reed that I'm going to show you now. But take a look at this. He talks about the nose of the reed, which is cool. So the nose of the reed, right through here, is the spine here. And he describes this as like airplane wings. And that you want to have them be even, so that they vibrate evenly. That is very, very important. This is one of the places where we get resistance in our reeds. So we determine that this side of my reed, probably right in here, is a little bit too hard. He does a thing where he presses on it with his fingers. And, you know, that's a little bit above my pay grade. I don't really totally get that. You know, he presses it, he does this, he does this. Okay. And then he can figure something out. I don't quite get that. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you this reed here up close. We'll talk about it, we'll take a look. All right, the first pretty geeky thing that I did was I drew that same picture, kind of, right? So where he finds this, again, I'm going to show the still here. He puts this gauge in. I don't have that gauge. You can buy that gauge from him. I wish I had it. I don't have it. And so it shows where the mouthpiece and the reed come together. That's, that all goes right in there. So that bottom line is there. I made up that line here at the bottom of this triangle. All right, so what he is suggesting on this reed that I'm going to work on, that I would be working on this area here to make it more balanced out. That's my belief. If this were my reed that I was working on, I would have already Reed Wizarded it, so maybe that wouldn't really be the case. Maybe I wouldn't need to do that. And I would also ATG this if I were at home. But since we're talking about this with me not being at home, how the heck am I going to fix this? Well, also, let me tell you the first thing I did when I got this. I drew kind of the same picture on this reed, but then I just practiced, right? Because there's different things you can do with this, right? So I'm going to use this sort of a hollowed out part, I guess, and just rub it back and forth. I'm going to see where... I just want to practice getting good at this, right? Because, like, where am I taking off and how much am I taking off, right? The thing about this part of the tool is that it blends very gradually. It goes with the contour of the reed. One of the problems I always had with the reed knife is I was digging on a certain part, and I couldn't really control the knife the way that I wanted to. And when I worked with an oboist on how to make oboe reeds, I won't go into that. Don't do it. You know, like I learned that my reed knife technique sucks. So this, you know, you can kind of use it like a reed knife, like that, but it's very easy to make the longer sort of push with it. It kind of goes like that. So you're still working with longer pushes. So I can practice with where I'm working, but that's very gradual. And it's in this area here, right, that I just took a little bit off. But if I want to get more specific with that, I'm going to do this actually with the other reed. Is I'm going to take this Mr. DeJoyo. Anyway, he's if you imagine a ReedGeek, that's who he is. Okay, that you could. I'm going to do this on the other side. I'm going to do it here in that spot. You can do very, very specific work, right? Right in there, you can get that taken off. You can see where that happened, right? So I just colored on this reed with a pencil so I could practice seeing where I was taking stuff off because I am a geek like that. Okay, so then for me, I would then blend it in more generally like that. Now, in a lot of the videos, I see people working on reeds that are still attached to their mouthpiece. That's never been something I've ever done, and you know, having something this sharp close to my mouthpiece just kind of freaks me out. Maybe I'm a square. Well, I'm certainly a square, but you know, maybe I'm too square. That freaks me out a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on that area on this reed. We're going to see if we can open up that area, make it vibrate a little bit more evenly. I'm not going to draw on this reed because I'm going to put it in my mouth, and I don't want to draw on that. I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to use this pencil eraser, get it out of that, what Mr. DeJoyo calls the cavity. Like he has a great analogy of this works like the wings of an airplane. Like the nose and the spine are like the body of the airplane, and these are the wings. And you want these wings to be even so that your plane flies straight, right? Which I think is a very cool analogy. Right? So then I'm gonna blend this in, so that I'm trying to retain the general contour of the reed. That is the principle of the ATG, which I love. I can feel like I've gone a little bit too deep on this reed. I can feel a little bump in there. All right, so let's see. I'm going to put it back in the water just for a second. Okay, so that last thing was the ATG test. If you haven't watched that video, it's a good one. Watch that one. I'll link it downstairs. Cool. I'm going to do just a little bit more, see what happens. One of the things I'm not a fan of in terms of this tool is it requires me to use some smarts. And I'm not really into that. I mean, I don't really like thinking too much about this kind of stuff. That's not true. I love thinking about it. I just hate to have to make decisions based on my thoughts about the impact on a reed. So I'm clearing this out. I wonder if we can see. I probably don't have enough light down here. I mean, could I? Yeah, well, this still doesn't mean anything to me. All right, so then I'm just gonna go like this. Actually, let's see what happens. I'm just gonna. The other question I have about working on reeds that are on your mouthpiece is that dust. Does it go inside there? Does it get in the facing? Like that also makes me feel a little bit weird. If I were to work on my mouthpiece as it sets right here, excuse me, that's a Freudian slip, is that what they call it? If I were to work on my reed as it sets right here, and then I get the dust, if the dust goes in between my reed and the mouthpiece, that's going to really mess up how it feels, isn't it? I think. So I'm hesitant to do that for two reasons. One, I don't want to my mouthpiece, which maybe isn't that big of a concern, but that's not going to stop me. But then also, where does that reed dust go? Does it go in my mouth? Does it go in my lungs? Does it go in my clarinet? I don't know. I don't want any of it. Okay. Okay, I've got to do a little bit of work on the other side now. My original side feels pretty clean. The other side now feels in juxtaposition maybe, a little bit too resistant. So here we are. Keep in mind, I'm just getting going on this. I don't have a great deal of experience. I've got a great deal of experience with reeds, but not this tool. And here I am, just working here with my pencil eraser. Woohoo! Now I'm going to do the thing. Blend it in. It sounds like fancy. I'm not really a fancy person. I feel like blending something in is kind of above what my social standing allows me to do. But whatever. Okay. Still not really what I would consider a playable reed. Let's do one more move. One more move. Let's try it. I'm going to go along the spine of my reed. Right along here. Let's see what happens. This is a suggestion made by the creator. This video that I've taken the still of, I will also link, if I haven't already said that, in the description. The challenge for me in watching the video is he doesn't play the reeds. He just talks about adjusting them. He shows the moves. All of that is totally awesome. I'm very happy to have it, but he doesn't really play on the reeds. So here we go. I'm going to work on the spine area a little bit to bring the resistance down. And I am just going to do this. I'm just going to actually use just a squared off bevel on this here. Just, whoops. And this is like sharp, so you don't have to press down. The weight of the tool will actually do everything that you need. Okay, let's see where we are. This is about all I'm going to mess around with this reed. This reed is not going to actually ever really work. I don't think so. All right. Maybe I spoke too soon. It's not bad. Okay, so there it is. That's all about how the ReedGeek works, the three different kind of edges and ways that you can use it. Here, what I see the advantages. Number one, it's small. It's easy to transport. I think you can get this on an airplane. Terrific. I'm probably not going to be using this at home. I like the ATG. I like the Reed Wizard. I might be flattening the backs of my reeds with this at home because that is an easy way to do it. But I still have a bunch of sandpaper and a flat surface, so that's also an easy way to do it. When it comes to, I don't carry around a reed knife anymore. I will be carrying this in my case because this actually does have some flexibility and will allow me to take a bad reed and make it worse or make it better on a gig, and which I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on doing gigs, and I'm also planning on working my reeds on the gigs. But here is the one big negative. It's $90. It's kind of a lot of money. Like, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, hey, it's $90, like whatever. I'm kind of an oddball. I think $90 just to flatten out my reeds, I'll do it. I'll take it, because, flattening out my reeds, on the fly at work, that's worth $90 to me. Not everybody values $90 in that same way. And I get it. And up until 5 days ago, I didn't either, I guess, based on the fact that I didn't own one. But now that I do, you know what? I'm cool with it. I'm fine. So yeah, but it would be that this is going to be super easy to lose, to leave somewhere on a music stand, or to have it fall on like the black carpeted floor of a Broadway pit and not be able to find it and walk away not knowing that you left it there. There's lots of ways this can go wrong, but I'm excited to use it. I think it's going to be a tool that I use some. And believe me, I bought a lot of tools I don't use at all because they're garbage. This is not garbage. It does what it says it's going to do, and it does a good job of saying what it says it's going to do. And if you have a want for any of those things, you should buy this, and you should buy it from my link down there, my Amazon Associates link. You don't spend any more money, but I get 35 cents. So please do that. Anyway, if you're still here, love you. I'll see you next time. Clarinet Ninja, like, subscribe, do the whole thing. Bye.